What's up, buds? Welcome to another episode of the Earbuds Podcast. This is a podcast where two buds talk about one album for a good amount of time. I, as always, am your co-host, Ash Action Hanrahan. Join with me, Lucas Adventure Indrakovs.
Action's way cooler.
Yeah, sorry, I took the good one.
Yeah, you took it.
Yeah, it's all mine. Well, who didn't want to do the fucking intro?
Douche.
Today, we're talking about what I think. Well, we'll talk about it. It's an album by Lucas's favorite rapper and one of my favorite rappers, Action Bronson. It is Mr. Wonderful. Mm-hmm. It is his second album, if I remember correctly.
It is his second full-length record, his first major label record. I think this is when he joined Vice Atlantic record label. So he did Well Done before that, and I think that was on like a local label in New York. And then he did Sob Stories, and I think on Sob Stories is when he had joined Atlantic Vice. So Mr. Wonderful was like his first major label full-length debut record. And
yeah,
it's weird, man. Like going and listening through it, it feels like a major label version of Action Bronson, if that makes any sense. It's like I couldn't qualify what it was that made this album feel and sound different to me than all his other stuff.
Well, first off, the music is kind of entirely different from what he would go on to do.
Right?
Right?
It like, doesn't feel like Action Bronson beats.
No, it's these all seem like either samples or live recordings of like full bands and kind of like a rock, jazz, blues kind of outfit. There
were a lot of musicians and like featured artists and
yeah, it's I don't think there are any like 808s on this record. I don't think there are really any like analog instruments aside from like a keyboard or a synth or something.
Really, there's some guitar mixed in there. Like Party Supplies is one of the producers that he's worked with before. Like he did the whole Blue Chips mixtape with Party Supplies. And I think Party Supplies, like he plays guitar and piano, and Mark Ronson did a couple of beats on this.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So he obviously is like a really talented musician and producer and everything. So yeah, it's just, I was curious what you thought of the beats overall on this record. Like is this your favorite Action Bronson record?
I said something last episode when we were talking about this album coming up. I said that I didn't think it's his peak, but it's my favorite record, and I want to revise that statement. After having listened to this record for a week, I think this is his fucking peak record. I think it's got the best music. I think it's got some amazing verses, and it's my personal favorite Action Bronson record.
Yeah, I mean, I think I knew that this was your favorite record by him.
Yeah.
And this is weirdly one of the ones I've listened to the least by him. And
is it just because it's like his most mainstream album?
I think it has the feel of a mainstream record for me. Like it doesn't feel personal to him. In a lot of like musically, it doesn't feel personal to him.
Are you sure about that, sir?
Who else
was making beats like this? Who else was rapping to stuff like this?
Well, I feel like stuff
rapping to stuff like this.
I feel like stuff like a Brand New Car is like the beat's decent, but it's just a little too poppy and radio friendly for me. And then you have stuff like The Rising, the next song that is, I think, Party Supplies or Static Selector, I think did that one. And it sounds like the beats like, have you ever listened to Well Done? The record the full length record before this one?
I have, but I kind of forgot what it was about.
It's kind of the same vibe for me, that it's like a certain era of hip hop beats that he was rapping over a lot of the soul, Motown, funk samples at that time. And he didn't get into his like really obscure Turkish psych rock, like Russian reggae, whatever, like random shit that him and Alchemist would just like pull out of a crate and make a beat out of. He wasn't doing that yet at this point. He was playing more mainstream. He was like rapping over more what I consider mainstream beats to be.
I mean, if you're saying like, yeah, like rock and blues and jazz are very mainstream genres and they're very American genres.
Yes.
And if that's kind of the angle you're coming at, instead of like pulling from like Italian music and Turkish music and stuff, then yeah, I guess it's a mainstream like I guess it's mainstream music and records, but I don't know, man. It's like we've heard other Bronson records and like I remember we listened to Coco Trio Turbo,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we both kind of thought that was underwhelming in
It
the
was.
beat department.
It was.
And like comparing it to something like this where he has like this whole album structure that's like I feel like it's one of the only albums where he was really thinking about the track list.
I
And he was
totally
doing
agree.
transitions between songs and he
Yep.
had like the passage is just like such a weird track that doesn't really even feel like music, honestly, for
Yeah.
most of it.
Yeah, I totally 100% agree that this feels like the only album that he seemed to put thought into the track listing. Like to the point where there's 3 songs in a row that he said it was kind of a mini musical within the record, like within the track listing. And it starts with City Boy Blues,
Oh,
A Light in the Attic, and Baby Blue. He was like, those 3 songs to me are their own kind of little thing within the record. He was like, I wanted to do this kind of trilogy little musical in the album, and you can kind of hear it in the music in those 3 songs.
I would have never honestly like thought of that myself, that these 3 songs were like connected in some way.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that the 3 songs you were going to say were going to be Falconry, Thug Love Story, and City Boy Blues. Just because at the end of Falconry, he kind of describes what I always thought was this scene in Thug Love Story. And then that just kind of goes real nicely into City Boy Blues.
Thug Love Story is such a waste of a track to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the guy's voice is okay, but it's like, what's the point of this?
I think he was trying to... I don't know. I think he was just trying to instill some fucking like raw culture of New York into his like album.
Yeah, I could definitely, that makes sense.
It is a track I skip.
Yeah, there's no point on listening to it.
It's like it's nice, it's cool, like whatever, but it's really not a Bronson song. It's just kind of this guy singing. I don't know if it's original. I don't know if it's a song.
I think he's making
don't
it
know
up
if
on the
it's a
spot.
cover.
I think
That's
it's
cool.
totally an improv, minute and a half thing that this guy sings. And like I said, his voice is fine, but it's like, whatever. But when I was listening to this, I was like, what is it about this record that kind of throws me off a little bit as a huge Action Bronson fan, knowing that this is like probably his most popular album too?
I'd say, yeah.
I mean, huge songs on here, Acting Crazy, Baby Blue, Easy Rider. I mean, those are 3 massive hits for him. And
I think there's 3 most popular. If
probably.
I'm not mistaken.
And I do agree that like beats wise, there was something off about this. Like I would say Blue Chip 7000 is my favorite album by him. And next is Lamb Over Rice. I think, and it's only 7 songs, but Lamb Over Rice is really like just a perfect EP, and I think Blue Chips is a perfect album of Action Bronson. And this one kind of felt, it was weird because I was like, there's something about this record that I don't really like, and it has nothing to do with Action. I love everything he's doing on here. It's something about the music, but something that I could really appreciate and something that was kind of kept going through my head was this thought that I'm like, I feel like this is his best written album in terms of like song structure and songwriting.
Yeah, I think it's easy for Bronson to kind of lean on just having one beat and one flow and going through verse in a song. You
Right.
know?
Yeah. It's like he almost, after a certain point, doesn't even have hooks anymore on songs.
Yeah.
Really.
But
You know?
in this one, he like sings a chorus or two. He did
He
like,
sounds great too. He needs to do that more often.
yeah, he doesn't sound bad. It's like a little lost my brain, got
Yeah.
you know.
Same. And
And then
like, She Only Loves Me for like, what is it? On City Boy Blues, he sings the whole time and it sounds fucking awesome.
yeah, it's like I don't know why you don't do that more often. It's like you don't have to be a singer, but like
You could totally sing your own like hooks like a Denzel Curry. You know, it's like the same kind of
yeah,
thing. It's like, dude, he can do it and he should do it.
it's like
And
JID.
like JID, yeah.
It's like you're a singer, but you just don't do it. Are you just like scared that you'll be like seen as like a lesser rapper or
Soft or
something? Like I don't know how the
something.
culture
Yeah.
is.
But yeah, that's kind of I was trying to make sense of this weird feeling. I'm like, this is such a well written album. Why don't I like it as much as I feel like I should, as just a fan of his and a fan of rap music? And I think it is like, it does feel, it's his poppiest record, I think, for sure.
Sure. Yeah.
In terms of what, like, his music choices, like the choices that he made felt like a major label version of his beats. And like they weren't so obscure and weird. They were almost like, some of the beats were almost too friendly to sounding to me, like too approachable.
I think you're just saying that because it's this very familiar rock genre, and these tend to be in a major key.
Yeah,
The like
major
the
key thing.
instrumentation here and what they're doing, like the weird instrumentation on Galactic Love, which is honestly not a song I really enjoy that much, but it's like it's weird. It's kind of dynamic. On
Jazzy
Terry,
stand up bass. Dude,
where
I love Terry.
he's just like
That
that's like
electric
that's
piano is so juiced.
how do you rap on that? Why would you rap on that? Who would
And
think to do that?
that's the Alchemist, baby.
I I think these beats are interesting. I think they're unique. But it obviously we're on two fucking opposite ends of the spectrum in that way.
Yeah, it's weird to feel like this is one of my least favorite albums by him, next to Cocodrilo Turbo.
Sure.
And this is better than Cocodrilo, for sure. Like, I
Well,
don't.
at least give me that.
Yeah.
Shit.
I can't deny that at all. Because I feel like his lyricism is fucking fantastic on this album. But I like, that was the weird part for me to kind of like make sense and emotionally is like, these are some of my least favorite songs by him as a whole. But then I feel like these are some of his best songwriting. And it was just kind of a weird like dichotomy of just this is some of his best written, structurally written music and songs, and it's like, and I just don't like him that much.
I wonder if it might also be because he hasn't exactly. It feels like he hasn't exactly solidified his character. Like he'll talk about food and I
Clothes,
don't know,
wrestling,
like basketball every
yeah,
once in a while.
yeah,
But he doesn't do it to the level that he does, like talking about wrestling and basketball and food, like he does on other records.
and he's not as funny as he is now, and as he was on other records. And again, I also, the amount of hooks on this album felt like this feels like written for radio type of Action Bronson songs, because he does so few hooks later on in his career.
Sure.
And these are 3.5 minute songs. These are 4 minute long songs. Like he does a minute and a half, 2 minutes in and out. Fucking, like that's what I want to hear from him. I want to hear more. Like I want to be left wanting more. And none of these songs left me wanting more. And they all felt like, okay, that's done. Like next song. you know?
Yeah, I totally get you. Bronson in like later albums is definitely writing shorter songs, and it definitely doesn't. It does seem like he was maybe trying to write for radio a little bit more, and that he was.
Yeah.
I mean, he was trying to break out. It was his first major label debut. Like, obviously, he was trying to be a little more friendly, solidify his place, and then kind of go on to be more himself and write stuff that's more attuned to him. But I don't personally think that writing stuff that's a little more friendly and a little more accessible to people is a negative trait within itself. I don't think he's like diminished any artistry because
No,
of that. I don't
no,
think he's like I don't think he held back on his lyrics because of that,
definitely
you know?
not. And it's such a personal preference for me that I struggle with pop music. I struggle with music that I would consider radio friendly
Right.
music,
Yeah.
and this feels like a very radio friendly version of Action that it's just like it's kind of there are some really good songs on here. Like I'm not hating on everything, but it's really
Yeah.
50-50 for me whether I really enjoy it or not. But I mean, has said in interviews that he wanted the whole album to be a thing. He doesn't care about individual songs. He was trying to make it a complete project, and it feels that way for sure. He's like, I wasn't trying to have a theme. I wasn't trying to do a concept record. He's not trying to be inspirational or try and have this, big message. It was like, I just wanted to have this fun, happy, funny, kind of like rugged rap album. And I think he pulled that off, whether it's like, my personal preference of like what I want him to sound like and the things that I want him to rap over. That's a whole nother thing, but I mean, critics liked this album. He has a 77 Metacritic score, which is like fucking really good.
Damn.
Yeah, it's almost a B. Like it's people really liked it, and they were saying that it did feel a little all over the place with the music choices, which I agree with that also. That nothing really felt that cohesive in terms of like the vibe that he was trying to set. But man, lyrically phenomenal. He's amazing on this album.
I mean, yeah, he really can't miss. I forget one of my like fucking favorite lines on this record. Probably like one of my favorite lines comes from Big Body. She only loves me when I'm naked.
Yeah,
Which is like such a fucking
all sorts of felony in his waist.
all sorts of a felony in his waist.
With
Who
Latin,
are you?
I'm here on the corner, 3 a.m., standing with a Latin individual. Like body's always guaranteed to give you a great outro on any song, and he definitely used Body on this record. And I thought Mayhem fucking killed it on Falconry.
I thought Mayhem was pretty good. I don't know about killed it, but I liked it.
I thought he almost like stole the song.
Oh damn.
And I think Chance the Rapper on Baby Blue has my favorite verse on the record.
I do love Chance's verse. It's very focused in a theme.
Yeah.
And I feel like Chance had a better grasp of the theme than maybe even Action did.
I think so. Yeah. And it was an interesting story how that song even got made, how Chance even ended up on the track.
How did it?
It was, you don't know this?
No, I don't know.
So that was another Mark Ronson beat, was Baby Blue. And I think Mark Ronson should stick to pop music, but that's all. I'm just going to leave that there. But so Ronson and Bronson were in London together working on this song. And I think even coming up with the horn part, they came up with that together. And so basically Bronson wrote his part on the song, and he flew out of London, and I think like a few days later Chance flew into London to work with Mark Ronson, and Mark was kind of psyched about Baby Blue, and he's like, hey man, check out the song I just did with Action. And Chance was like, I have to be on this. He's like,
shit.
I have to rap on this. And so they didn't even ask Action. They were like, he was like, all right, like fucking, put a verse out there. And then they sent it to Action Bronson. And he was just like, that's the song. Like that just made the whole thing.
I mean, if I remember correctly, this is like shortly after Acid Rap.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so Chance is kind of popping off, but he's not quite a big name like he'll be on the Coloring Book.
But this ended up being a huge hit for both of them.
Yeah. And I think it's we might be talking about it later.
We might be. And I've always thought, again, Blue Chip 7000, I think, is action. You say that this album is like peak action for you. I think Blue Chips 7000 is peak action for me, lyrically
And musically?
and musically, 100%.
Okay, well.
Yeah, but lyrically on this, I mean, it's just like this. I think this album and Blue Chips are his best lyrics that he's ever written.
Do you think he just kind of ran out of juice in this lane that he was speeding in?
I think
Or
after Blue Chips, it was like, I think Blue Chips was before White Bronco. I'm pretty sure. And White Bronco, I think, started kind of, you could feel it kind of falling a little bit. Only for Dolphins had some funny stuff on there, but it was all kind of same. And then once Cocodrilo Turbo came out, I was like, he is phoning it in right now with his like, fuck it, I'll make a line about soup, and then I'll make a line about a gun, and then I'll make a line about BMWs, and then I'll do a obscure sports reference. And it did start feeling like he was either running out of shit to talk about, or he was just tired of writing the same shit over and over again.
Sure.
You know? But that's what I love about his lyrics. It's like, what I love the most about Action's lyrics is that they're very genuine. He's never writing about something that he isn't genuinely and sincerely into. Sure. You know? So like anytime that there's a reference about like anything with cooking and sports and cars and weed and food and all this stuff, it's like he's so genuinely,
what he's talking about.
That's what he's talking about, and he's into it. Like anytime I've seen him in an interview being asked, you know, like, how do you know about this random, you know, bodybuilder? And then he'll just name off 6 other bodybuilders that he's into. And you're like, oh my God, this guy's like really actually into this random shit that he's always talking about. And he's like always so funny. There's always so many references and so much attitude, but it's really playful all the time. And that's something that I had to learn about Action also. At first I thought he was such a fucking dick. And he was like the most cockiest dude, like narcissist. And then I realized that he's just fucking around. And that made me love him, because then I was able to kind of see through the facade of I'm amazing and everything I do is fucking amazing, to realize that it's like, oh, that's just him being funny, having that cocky attitude. And I just he makes it so cool. Like he's just so fucking cool too, that I love him. And it's just like any fucking Action Bronson record that you try to talk about. There's so many lines that it's not even worth trying to list most of them, because it's like, dude, we could be here all night, just line after line after line. Every song is hilarious or awesome, one or the other.
I don't think there's a song where like the lyrics fell flat, honestly.
No, I don't think there was one weak track on this record in terms of lyricism for Action. And it's awesome because like the fact that he can be kind of tested when someone asks him like, how do you, like, where did you know that reference is random baseball, you know, shortstop from the 60s or whatever, and he can speak to it. So you know he's not faking the funk, or trying to be different or esoteric or anything like that. Like he's just into a lot of shit, and when he's into it, he seems to get really fucking into it. Like seeing him now with exercise and working out and everything, like he is into those fucking kettle swinging things that he does, and the Israeli swinging bats or whatever that he's using. I'm like, he is into it, man. His Iron Sheik fucking bats that he's like swinging around and shit. It's like, I love it. And I just love how genuine he is to himself and with his music, that he's never faking the funk.
No, man, he's real, and he is playing this character. I think it's kind of a half character. You know, I think he does kind of have this like braggadocio confidence about him.
Yeah, which as a rapper, I feel like you have to.
You gotta.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure. And yeah, man, I just think like I said, there's too many hooks on this record, but my favorite hooks are the ones where he's singing on them, and I think it's really, really well done. I don't know why he stopped doing that, but yeah, man, I feel like this is, I don't know, there was just something about this album that didn't ever really resonate that much with me.
At the end of the day, man, it's all about fucking feeling, and if you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it.
Yeah, and I think the album that got me into him was, I think it was Blue Chip 7000. I think that's the one that my friend Bud was like, dude, you gotta fucking listen to this. Either that or this one. I don't know. I can't remember. It was so long ago. But it's just I don't know. It's just interesting. It's to think like this is the era that I got into him, and it's just kind of like even on this. I've heard this album multiple times. There are songs that I forgot even existed,
Sure.
and I've heard this album many times. I've smoked a lot of weed to this record, and like Galactic Love. You mentioned it already. I completely forgot that song even existed.
It's kind of one of the flyovers for me.
It is. It definitely is. Like that one and Only in America. We're both like,
dude.
You like that? You like Only in America?
I love Only in America.
I can't do it.
Only in America.
I hate that hook.
I love it.
The beat is interesting. It's like some German fucking that it sounds like Rush almost, but it's like very German.
It's very like old Prague.
Yeah, it's 80s prog rock or whatever, and that's what he said he wanted to do. He wanted to write a Journey type song, and so that's what they did, and I wasn't a big fan of it. Also, like A Light in the Attic, I didn't like, and I've never really liked.
What?
Yeah,
that's fucked up, dude.
I think the singing's great. I like that the beat is kind of bluesy, and it's obviously trying to be very sad and moody. But I don't know. I've never really liked rap songs when they talk about like mental health stuff. And it used to kind of come off as really cheesy to me and cringy. But then Kendrick does it so well, where Kendrick has changed my mind a few times about these songs that are just very on the, like, how would you feel if I just died today? I'm like, ugh, I don't want to hear you. I want to hear you talking shit. And, I don't want to hear about.
Oh my God. God forbid these rappers talk about how they fucking feel every once in a while. Action like never does any shit like this.
I know.
And the fucking one time he does, you're like,
it.
oh yeah, and that track sucks, dude.
I don't like it.
Piss off.
I'm like, man up, dude.
Stop crying, dude. Just hold it in.
Yeah, quit being a bitch. Well, I mean, I think it's time we get into the honorable mentions and the choice nugs and all that stuff. I mean, is there anything?
The whatable mentions?
The narnerable mentions.
Yeah, okay. I thought I misheard you there.
Was there anything else that you wanted to deep dive into before we go into our favorite songs?
I don't think so, man. I think I appreciate how kind of he has a lot of musicians and a lot of producers helping him, but he takes a lot of these tracks solo. Like he's the only kind of rapper vocalist on the track.
Yeah, there's not a ton of features on this record.
It's always nice when someone has like the confidence in themselves to like have like half a record where it's just like it's just you on the track. Where nowadays like it's kind of hard to find any record where there's even one song that doesn't have like featuring blank on it.
Yeah, and I've always thought that was kind of a cop out, lazy move on a lot of rappers that you can't, if you can't carry a whole song by yourself, like I don't know, it kind of takes away some cred for me. One
of the recent albums that I really like that did it is when we did J.I.D.'s The Forever Story.
Yeah.
Where, just like 10 tracks of him, like 4 tracks of features. He just fucking knows he's good, man. He knows he's got it.
He stacked those features up too. Like he would have 2-3 people on a song when he did have someone on a song. But it's like I don't know if you ever listened to J. Cole, but one of J. Cole's big things was not no having any features. And it is impressive because you look at the track lengths and we're 4 minutes and 49 seconds, 4 minutes, 2.5, 4, 6 minutes. It's like he's doing these really long hip hop tracks that is being able to carry the whole thing by yourself and make it interesting the whole time.
It's a tough task.
It's impressive. And I want to say, I don't know if we touched on this during the White Bronco episode, all the comparisons to Ghostface Killah that Action gets. I wanted to kind of see if I could hear it, because that was another thing that when I first whenever Action was shown to me, I was like, he's ripping off Ghostface. And my friend was like, no, dude, not at all. Like, he's completely different. I was like, he sounds exactly like him. He's doing the exact same delivery where he's kind of like loudly talking, and it's the same type of cadence, and my buddy was like, no, dude, no, like you're completely wrong. You need to listen to more of Action Bronson to understand what makes him different. And since then, I've been able to kind of, I've totally seen what makes them both so unique and special, while still acknowledging that, like, yeah, I'm sure some people can hear, they'll hear those similarities or whatever. But still to this day, I randomly stumbled upon something on Instagram that was like an Action Bronson freestyle. He destroyed it, and 90% of the comments was he bit Ghostface's style. This dude's a fucking copycat. This dude's a, whatever. And I'm just like, dude, still to this day, people are still fucking talking about this after Action has just like proven himself over and over again. When's the last time Ghostface put out a good fucking record anyway?
It's ridiculous to make comparisons like that. Like, God forbid someone sounds the same. They're talking about two. Ghostface and Action couldn't be talking about more different things in any of their lyrics.
Thank you. That was my main thing. So I listened to Ghostface for like an hour today.
Okay.
Just to be like, what is it? What is it that I heard in a similar? What is it that people are still fucking accusing him of being a copycat? I honestly couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear it. I didn't hear it in the cadence. I didn't hear it, especially in the lyrics.
Yeah.
Maybe in the delivery. Maybe that delivery. They're both from Queens, I think. Like they both have that kind of, I don't know, a certain way of talking, a certain way of rapping, that they're kind of up in the register, a little yelly, But other than that, man, there's nothing. I didn't hear anything, and I'm like, man, people need to let this shit go. And
so
again,
that's your official statement. Is PSA. Let's stop comparing them two. Let's start comparing Action to that other fucking guy that sounds exactly like Action Bronson. How about that?
Which is?
That fucking like kitty freestyle. You remember I sent you that video?
Yes. Who was that?
It was West Side Gun. I don't know, man. I forgot his fucking name. But if we're talking about people that sound like other people, that one's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, for sure, man. I just think, I don't know. I think it's such a shitty way to take away anything that Action has done in his career.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just a fucking copycat. All he's doing, the only reason he's where he is now is because he stole Ghostface's shit. And it's like, really? And they even squashed that shit long ago. Like 10 years ago, they squashed that beef. And, I mean, Ghostface straight up said that he was gonna fucking, like, he would kill Action Bronson.
Oh shit!
In his response, do you remember any of that shit? Did you?
Dude,
have you seen any of this
I mean, I've never ran into any of that shit.
I deep dived into it because I'm such a huge Action fan, and I was like, so what really happened? Like, because there was there's some beef and blah blah, and I think it was an interview where the interviewer said, you get a lot of comparisons to Ghostface Killah. What's your response to that? And he said, I love Ghostface. Like, he's definitely a huge inspiration for me and blah, blah. And he's like, but Ghostface isn't doing what I'm doing. And he was like, at least not anymore. And it was just this little comment, very in passing. And then they just moved on.
Sure.
And Ghostface recorded this like 20-minute response of just him in a living room,
dude,
just like
chill.
Constantly pulling up his pants and like fucking pointing at the camera and calling him fat boy and you fat fuck and blah blah, and just saying like I'll fucking pull up on you and sounding way cooler than I could ever sound, but he was fucking pissed. And then Action straight up like apologized to Ghostface and was like, hey, that was completely taken out of context and I didn't mean it the way that it came out. And because I think what Action was saying was like, yeah, I do kind of sound like him. Maybe there's some similarities there, but he's like, Ghostface isn't doing what I'm doing. And that's exactly what you said when I brought it up. He's not doing what Action does. Ghostface, there's no similarities.
Yeah. Not in the music, not in the lyrics. Like, if we're just talking about sounding like you're from Queens, then fuck yeah.
Then,
I don't know.
Yeah, fucking,
I don't know what we can really do about that.
Exactly. Like Action can't change the way he talks. And again, like after Action apologized, like Ghostface said, hey man, appreciate it. I understand now what you were trying to say. And, And I did take it the wrong way. And Ghostface has said in interviews before when people ask him about it, he goes, listen, man, Action has his own style. He's doing his own thing. And I completely support the guy. And it's like, okay, well then everyone can just fucking chill out.
And we can chill out in the fucking Narnug zone. Let's cool
it.
off. Let's fucking take our clothes off. Let's get in the sauna. Let's just fucking detox.
Let's fucking do it.
Well, why don't you kick it off with some honorable mentions?
My Narnies?
Your Narnies.
Yeah, man. It was kind of hard to pick my 2 favorite songs because the songs that I do like on here, I really love, and they're all very same level. But I would say first honorable mention is Falconry. Because of Mayhem and Action. Like, they fucking destroyed it. I don't even like the beat of Falconry, but I love their... No, I don't.
I love how it intros, though, where he's like, yo, pass me the ball! And it's just like 4 of his voice, just like, I'm gonna fuck this up! I'm gonna dunk on your shit!
Yeah. It's strange.
It's great.
But I do love their verses a lot. And one of the ones that was really hard to not pick as one of my choice nugs was Actin' Crazy. Fucking love that song.
I personally don't really get the hype around that song.
Really?
But
is it the hook?
I don't know. It's like I like whatever other people see in it, and like with Lowrider as well, or Easy Rider.
Really? You don't like that song either?
I like it, but it's just like I don't think it's one of the best ones, and I don't think it had potential to be popular either. I don't know.
Man, I love the sample so much on that song. It's like some old Turkish psych rock sample or whatever. And that fucking, I don't know if is that a distorted synth or a guitar?
Who knows?
It sounds like an oboe almost or something like love it so much. And the original song is so fucking killer too. Like, I made a whole playlist of Action Bronson samples, and so it's just gotten me to listen to so much random obscure music. And it's like, I love his songs that use these songs so much that I've just fell in love with all the original tracks also, and there's all so weird and random. But Acting Crazy, it's definitely one, like, top 3 on the album. Like, I think a big thing too is like me and Christina, when it comes on, like we rap along to it a lot, and like we love like singing along to that song.
Sure.
And I love the beat a lot on Acting Crazy. It has this, it's like that wah wah wah.
It's very like kind of reverse sounding the whole time.
It's like woozy. Like, it makes me feel like woozy. I love it.
I do love how the track starts, and like the transition between Terry and Acting Crazy, where it's kind of like you're just kind of like sitting there like, what happened? Where'd everyone go?
Yeah,
you know,
right.
And then like slowly sound starts to fade in, and you just hear like,
yeah, because Terry has that sort of trippy psych outro that just like leads into it really well. And I love the line, "Now these motherfuckers all want to be chubby." when I heard that, I was like, he's so right. Like, he made me feel better about being chubby, because I was like, because he's so fucking cool. I'm like, well, I guess I can still be cool.
You can still be cool and chubby, man.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's not mutually exclusive.
I guess so. But one of my choice nugs, you just mentioned it, is Terry.
Terry. Yeah, that was a close one for me.
That's always been one of my favorites since I first heard this record, like almost 8 years ago at this point or something.
It's one of the longest songs on the record. It's also one of the chillest songs.
It's a great Alchemist beat. I love the electric piano, that and the guitar, that twing 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 twing.
I mean, that whole, like, it never gets old. That fucking like, gun, 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 gun.
Yeah, and that little lick that they do. Yeah. It's just so chill, but it's a weird
it's so
sample
weird.
too.
Like
They
every
do those
once
like
in a
quarter
while.
note ups where they go up a little bit, quarter notes, and
Yeah.
then come back down. You're like, what is that? That's such a weird progression.
And then sometimes it'll sound like they fucking ran into a percussion stand or something. And like the background would just be like crashes and like, what the fuck
Yeah.
is that?
It seems like a lot of things that they like just grabbed all these like little samples and bits and
Yeah.
bobs and just kind of threw it all together just perfectly. And I think it's the most current action sounding beat on this record.
Yeah. You don't think like Easy Rider would fit that more?
Yes, those two,
Okay.
Terry and
Yeah.
Easy Rider. Like I think that's the two. That's like that shows kind of where he's gonna go with his choices there.
Yeah.
And big surprise, both. Oh, actually, no. Easy Rider is Party Supplies. I thought it was Alchemist. Alchemist only produced 2 songs. No, 3 on here.
Damn.
Yeah, he did Terry, he did Falconry, and he did Galactic Love. Yeah.
That's like you don't like falconry. Galactic Love you're not really into.
Yeah, I know, right? It's weird. Like even when I was writing my notes, I assumed all the beats that I liked the most on this album were Alchemist, and I wrote that
You
down.
always do.
I always do. And I wrote that down, and then I was like, oh, I was way off. Except for Terry. And
Sure.
the single artwork for Terry is like fucking great too.
I haven't seen it.
All the artwork was created by this one artist that I think Action reached out to him directly. Like he did the album cover and he did all the singles artwork, and they're all ridiculous, perfect Action Bronson artwork. And I
Sure.
think Terry, he's like wearing a terry cloth robe, this really like fuzzy robe, smoking like a fat blunt or something. And I think he has like his shoes are 2 alligators. I think.
Sure.
I have like this really vivid memory. I gotta look it up now.
Well, it's better than the shit that the art that he's been putting out lately.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, yeah. His robe looks like it's all green. Like it must be all green mink, like his line in the
All
song.
green mink. Yeah.
And yeah, he's got like gators on his feet, like literally 2 alligators. He has a poodle with an eye patch, and just like a badass BMW. But yeah, I love this guy's artwork, man. Shout out to I wish I knew his name.
Cool.
But shout out to that guy. He's fucking cool as shit.
Well, maybe while you look it up, I'll tell you my Narnabra mentions and Narnug.
Yes, tell me.
I got a good couple on here. I do love this album. I don't think there's really any flyovers except for Galactic Love. And the passage I could take or leave.
The
I think
passage
it's cool.
I don't think there's any point to it either.
I think it's like probably the most. This album is the most artistic he's been, in my opinion. But I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't come out as great. But my notable mentions are The Rising. I love that beat.
The Rising, I like the beat more than Brand New Car, but it still sounds like something that would be on Well Done to me, so it sounds a little outdated.
I like A Light in the Attic. I really like that one. Nearly lost my mind.
Yeah, I mean that's super catchy.
Only in America, which you are not into, but
No.
I love the music and I love that chorus. It's very bombastic
Of
and
course.
bright and explodey. My first nug is going to be one that I think we might share, which is Baby Blue.
Yeah, man, that was my other choice. Nug. It was hard to pick between that one and Easy Rider, but I went with Baby Blue. I had to listen to my heart.
I that's also another one with a great like transition between A Light in the Attic and Baby Blue.
Yeah, and that's what kind of like it pushed through that when I read that he wanted those 3 songs in a row. Oh, I forgot about City Boy Blues. That was another choice nut for me. Really, really like City Boy Blues a lot. But yeah, Baby Blue, it's just the transition between Light in the Attic and Baby Blue. That's what kind of solidified the whole like, oh yeah, he wanted these 3 songs to kind of be a combo, you know? And yeah, Baby Blue is just such a great beat, man.
It is. It just has this like almost banging on the keys the whole time.
Yeah.
And this is one where Bronson is singing the chorus the whole time. Why you always all on my back?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
why you gotta act like a bitch?
Dude, so funny. And like I said, Chance just totally
Chance, yeah.
destroyed. He made that song.
I love it. I love him on this album. I hope you like work out of Fridays and you never get off Fridays and it's always busy on Fridays.
Yeah, I hope your titty's saggy in your mid-20s.
I hope there's always snow on your driveway. It's just that like weird line that Chance was so good at like trapezing on of like goofy, silly, but also like cool.
Yeah, just great lyrics, but you're still being petty as fuck.
Yeah. Which he kind of lost in The Big Day, but
Yeah, I mean, I love the. I hope every soda you drink is already shaken up. I hope you win the lottery and lose your ticket. I hope the zipper on your jacket gets stuck. And your headphones short, and your charger don't work, and you spill shit on your shirt. And
it's just like the most like petty. But then he ends it off and like, I hope your tears don't hurt, and there's a smile on your face. It's like, I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy. I hope you ruined this shit for a reason. I hope it's like, whoa, where did it suddenly got real? What the fuck?
That I hope your tears don't hurt is like such a fucking heavy line that
Out of
it's
nowhere.
It does come out of nowhere, and it's very jarring, and I love it that he can. It's the same thing like on acid rap when we were talking about acid rap. It's like, how can you go back and forth from being so silly and goofy and tongue in cheek, and then the next line is super serious and very sincere and emotional, and you're like, wow, it's jarring a little,
but it fucking works.
It works, yeah.
And then also great verses from Bronson on this one.
Yes.
Just fucking kills it every time, you know.
I love like so many women want to call me baby, and you wonder why the fuck I ain't call you lately.
Oh fuck, dude.
I love like go on a date. I'm at the crib with the chef. That's me. You could order whatever. The specialty is white snake and underwear sauce. Fucking gross. I love it, and I understand it's only because I'm popular. I'm getting topped off in the front row of the opera. Like,
also a dude who just like does goofy shit, but it's so cool.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I
like,
don't know how.
There's something so like Action Bronson as a person is an aesthetic, and he is just so unique to himself, and there's no one else like him in the world. And I fucking love him, man.
I fucking love it too, man. And I love my second Narnug, which I think you're gonna disagree with. It was really close between this and Only in America, which I'm sure you fucking hate to hear.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna choose Brand New Car.
I got a jazz guitar.
I think it's a great way to intro the album. I love the energy he brings on this track. He just comes out the gates running. Welcome. And then just fucking goes off. Yeah. And I love the beat. I guess I love beats with banging keys on them. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was like such a of the time too to have these like piano driven songs. But yeah, I like the song that they took the sample from more than the beat.
Really?
On the song. Yeah. It's a song called Zanzibar by Billy Joel.
Yeah.
And I mean, he literally is singing that part. Like, I got a brand new car.
Yeah. I got a jazz guitar.
Like, I'm not a big Billy Joel guy to begin with, but I just like, because Action used it, and you know, it's like the connection between it all. I'm like, I love this song. Like, I love the original, but it is a great opener.
I don't know, man. You just immediately, there's like no hesitation. He already shows you his confidence, his braggadocio.
So much energy.
Yeah.
I love the line where he says like something about like, fuck this jacket, I'll turn it into 85 napkins or something. Like, Just yeah, there's just so many little things like that. Yeah, like you said, he's right off the bat. Like he's not. That's what I liked about it, is for it being a major label full length debut. He's not being anyone else except himself in the lyrics.
He can't. He can't be.
Yeah, and that would have been such a bummer if he, even changed up anything about him.
Yeah.
Just because it's a major label thing. Like he was so like, okay, you guys know who you're signing, right? Like this is how I am, and this is who I am, and this is what I talk about, and all this shit. And it's like, despite all the things that I say about the music choices on this, that I feel like that definitely, I feel the label got more involved in those things. I feel like Action still is just so Action Bronson, almost peak Action for me lyrically. I think Blue Chips was where he melded the beats and his stuff to just write a perfect record for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was kind of like when we, because I brought White Bronco onto this show, and I was kind of surprised that it's not as good as I remember it being. Like when we were talking about it, and then it was kind of the same with Mr. Wonderful. I was like, oh, this album's not as good as I remember it being. And but I still really liked it. It's a fun record. It's definitely I would say more fun than anything else. Like
I think it's got its very artistic moments, and I think it's got great musical composition in there.
I mean, he's got top-notch producers writing his stuff. I just don't really like what they did for the most part.
And that's your fucking problem, man.
That's my problem. That's my prerogative. I'm allowed to have this opinion.
What is the fucking number that you're attaching to this album?
I am going to give this a 7.5.
7.5 is way more than I thought you'd be giving it.
Well, because like I said, the songs that I really like, I like a lot, man. Like Terry, Acting Crazy, City Boy Blues, Baby Blue, and Easy Rider. Those are some of my favorite Action songs.
Yeah.
Those are amongst the top Action songs for me. So it's just kind of, I forgot how much I don't really necessarily gravitate towards the songs in between those.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's interesting. And again, this is the era of Action that like got me into him. So it's weird to go back and I go back with these kind of nostalgia. Oh man, I remember I fucking loved this record. Me and Bud would smoke so much weed and drive around and listen to this, and and then it's just kind of like, man, I go back and I go, it's kind of, you can never go home again type of feeling, where I'm like, wow,
sure.
It's not the
yeah.
But yeah, man, 7.5. I mean, come on, I can't. It's Action. I can't give them below a 7.
Right.
And yeah, it's some of my favorites on here and some of my least favorites on here, but the songs I love a lot. So 7.5, I think that's a fair score.
Well, I think this rating might kind of give people more of a glimpse into our personal musical interests, because
me and you on a lot of things kind of have different preferences in a lot of genres. We both like a lot of the same genres, but the preferences within, we differ a lot.
And I think like rap and hip hop as a whole, I definitely am very picky with, and I don't really listen to it a lot, though I do love it when it hits.
Yeah.
So this rating might sound a little weird, but especially in comparison to Lucas's rating and how we've been kind of batting heads this whole time.
Right.
But I'm giving this album a 7.8.
Okay, I mean, it was gonna be weird if you didn't score higher than me.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. Like, I love this record. Is it like my favorite rap hip hop record? Like, no, not really. It's my favorite Bronson record. I fucking love this guy, and I love this album, and I think it's very creative. I think it's a very unique rap record. But not a lot of rap albums for me are really ever going to get into the 9s, just because that it's not like, that's not the genre where the 9s in my life lie,
Right. Didn't we give the Never Ending Story? Don't we give that a 9?
I mean, that was a pretty good fucking record.
Yeah.
That I mean, that was a whole concept record. Jid is a honestly kind of a genius. The beats are crazy.
Insane on that. So
It's
good.
like Jid, like Kendrick is gonna be up there
Good Kid, Mad City is at least a 9.
at least.
At least. Same with To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah.
And maybe Damn.
I went back to Damn recently, and I
It's
forgot
so
how much
good.
I like the record.
It's so good.
It like that record to any other rapper would be like their best record.
Yeah.
But because it's Kendrick Lamar, he fucking wrote 2 masterpieces. So
And
it's
that's the
like,
thing is like that record had the fact that To Pimp a Butterfly was the record that came out before it. It had Damn had that going against it
yes.
because
As
Damn is
like
much more of a straightforward hip hop album than To Pimp a Butterfly.
To Pimp a Butterfly being one of the like argued in music circles argued as one of the best records ever made. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
how do you go above that,
Yeah, and that was one of the lines that I loved that Mayhem had in his verse on Falconry, where he said, "I consider the last record I put out to be like my number one enemy," or something like that. And I thought that
Yeah.
was such a cool line, where he's just like, "All I see is the stuff I did before. I just want to beat it. Like I want to do that much
Yeah,
fucking better,
yeah,
blow it out the
yeah.
water." And I think that's
Right.
such a cool line and such a cool energy to have. Yeah, man. And I don't, in my opinion, I feel like Action is still at this point on his rise, and he's only getting better after this for like a couple of albums, and then it's very hit or miss from there. But I still absolutely love him.
Well, it's interesting because looking at the discography, White Bronco happens, and that's kind of where you were thinking he plateaus a little bit. But then right after that is Lamb Over Rice
Yeah, and that really blew me away, man.
into songs about dolphins or songs
Yeah, only for dolphins.
only for dolphins, and then Cocodrillo Turbo. So like this weird like spike and back.
Yeah, it's like Lamb Over Rice felt like a very like they wrote it in a weekend, just getting high and fucking hanging out together. Like that's what that felt like to me. So it had this very
Yeah.
because even in between songs, all they have is their conversations in the studio, and you can just
Yeah.
you hear that Body and Alchemist and Mayhem and all them are there, and they're just kind of hanging out.
Just chilling. Yeah.
He doesn't have any features on it, so it's kind of this thing where it's like you hear them all hanging out in the studio, but they're not rapping; they're just hanging out. And, it added this really cool vibe to it. But yeah, man, buddies, what do you guys think of Mr. Wonderful? Is this one of your favorite Action Bronson records? Is this like who are you siding with? Pick sides. Pick a side.
Pick it now. Pick a side now.
Yeah, it's kind of like in Air Bud when they're starting to the 2 owners are standing on each side of the dog, and they're just like, "Come here!" And it's like whoever the dog goes to is who it belongs to, and
Right. Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm like, "Come here, come on my side. This isn't the best Bronson record."
And I'm like, come on, baby. You know this is the good shit. Come on, over here, over here.
In a rolled up newspaper. It's like,
Guys-
come on.
But what did y'all think? We got YouTube. We're on Spotify.
Hey.
If you want to comment, if you want to review, should we do a review of Action's discography?
Oh,
That would be kind of nasty.
that'd be fun.
But
That'd be fun.
I don't know if people are into it.
Yeah, let us know, man. And yeah, follow us on everything. Did you already mention the Instagram, EBPcast?
EVP Cast, Instagram, YouTube, Earbuds Podcast, fucking Spotify, Earbuds Podcast.
Yeah,
we got all
yeah.
the links in the description. Fucking check it
Review,
out, man.
review the podcast. Give us a rating. Leave us a comment. Tell your friends, and let us know what you guys thought and what you want us to listen to. We might listen to what you want us to. You never know.
Maybe.
Weirder things have happened.
If it's bad, I don't think I'm gonna listen to
Yeah,
it.
we'll say fuck all that shit. But
Yeah.
who knows? Who knows? You might be surprised.
If it's comically bad, that's good too.
That's
That
good
gets
too.
back
honestly,
into
yeah.
the like we could do that. Yeah.
Yeah, so bad it's good.
Yeah.
A lot of movies that I love about that. And this, listening to, for this episode, like reading up on action and kind of like doing more research on him and everything, I think I finally found the tattoo that I'm going to get for Action Bronson.
Oh shit.
I want one. I'm going to get the MF Doom mask.
Okay.
I have to get something Action Bronson, and I have to get something RX Bandits. And I haven't figured out what RX Bandits I want because I don't like any of their artwork. So I don't know what I'm going to get.
I'm surprised you're getting a Doom tattoo.
Yeah, it's just so iconic, and
Sure.
it's also kind of it's a commemoration sort of tattoo for my friend Bud, who, like, committed suicide, and MF Doom was his favorite rapper, and he's the one who got me into MF Doom to begin with, and he's the one who got me into Action Bronson. And so it's kind of like getting the MF Doom mask is like half because I love MF Doom so much, and the other half is kind of my Bud tattoo.
Well, don't leave us in suspense. What is the Action Bronson tattoo?
So it's kind of hard to find, because his artwork is not the best art most of the times.
No.
So I had to dip into his mixtapes that he put out, and he put out a mixtape with Alchemist before, I think even before Well Done came out. It's called Rare Chandeliers. And the album, you just look it up. The album cover is insane, but the main part, it looks kind of like a 70s action movie poster, kind of this like painterly
Sure.
looking thing. And in the middle is him, huge blunt hanging out of his mouth, and he has like a double-barreled shotgun that he's shooting. He's wearing a tuxedo, and he has a fucking like wolf's head, like a taxidermy wolf's head on, like wearing it as a hat. And
oh my god.
dude, I want to get him, like that image of him tattooed on me.
Oh my god.
I know. But I want to get it in a way that is kind of like old school tattoos. So it'll be a little more simplified. It won't be as detailed and stuff. It'll just be a reference to this album cover. And I just think it's so fucking cool looking. And I have the perfect artist that I think would kill it on it. He's going to do this. He's going to give me the MF Doom tattoo also. So yeah, I think I finally figured out my fucking Action Bronson tat.
There you go. We'll get that RX one someday.
Yeah, help me look for. They don't have a lot of their artwork doesn't translate to what a good tattoo.
I'll keep my eye out.
This is the first action image that I saw that would translate well to a tattoo, and I'm like, okay, this is what I want. But the RX Bandits ones, it's like they're just kind of. I never really liked their artwork anyway. I mean, like Mandala has an amazing fucking album cover, but I can't get that.
No, it's like
That
all
would
the
cover my
artwork
whole
is.
back.
Even if you liked it, it's like way too complicated and detailed anyway.
Right. Like the Resignation, I love that album cover, but I can't get that tattooed on me. Like a
You
weird.
could just get like a little hula girl for like halfway.
I thought about that, like something cute like that, or like the Native American guy that they have on the cover of Progress, but then I don't want to get a tattoo of a Native American guy.
Yeah, I don't know about
That seems
that.
problematic. Like I don't want to even get involved in that. Well, yeah. Anyway, buddies, hey, if you guys are listening and you think of a cool RX Bandits tattoo, let me know because I'm starting to think I need to just dip into the lyrics, pull out a cool imagery from one of the lyrics, and just get a drawing of that. Anyway, Ash, this was good.
Lucas, this was good.
This was good. I'm fucking fading.
All right. Well, let's fade out.
All right. Bye.
Bye, buddy.